as a nutrition coach, I get this question a lot. What food should I eat? What should I eat for weight loss? What food should I eat to lose weight? Like I hear it almost daily. And I do not believe in a one size fits all plan. We can talk about how you can find the right foods for you. And I think that is so important. It's kind of like, have you ever created a playlist for yourself? And when you play it, every song pumps you up and you're like, yeah, this is my jam. Mine is called I'm a Badass playlist. So, and it feels so good, right? So I kind of want us to take that same principle with a playlist and we're going to create our food playlist. So we're going to use the traffic light eating method. And it can help you create your own personal food list that gives you energy, gives you the nutrition that your body is craving, but is also food that you love. I recently lost 53 pounds, so naturally people want to know what I've been eating, but it's not really about what I'm eating. It's really about finding what foods are for you. For example, my husband and I, we've lost weight together this time. And for breakfast, lunch, and I have snacks. He's not really a snacker. We're not eating the same thing. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks, none of that is the same. We obviously tend to eat dinner the same mostly, but on nights where he works late, he eats out more than I do. So we're really not eating the same thing at all, but we're using our own traffic light system, eating foods that we love, that our body loves too. I was recently on a Zoom call with a client, and she wanted to know what I ate, and I told her that I eat eggs for breakfast and hummus for lunch or as a snack almost every day. And she doesn't like either of those things, and that's okay. So that's not why I'm like, you eat eggs for breakfast, you eat hummus for lunch. My husband doesn't like eggs. So it's really not going to be a one size fits all plan. And I think that's amazing. Like, that really makes me happy. So I want you to take some time and answer these questions. What foods make you feel awesome? I'll link in the show notes an episode where I talk about a 3-day food journal, and it has a download, and I think that would be really helpful here. It will help you find the foods that after you're done eating, you feel amazing, and you can make a little note about that. Oh my gosh, I felt so good after eating blank. So these are going to be your green light foods. The foods make you feel good, physically and emotionally. The nutrition quality is going to be one consideration, but it's definitely not the only consideration. I really want you to consider how you feel holistically after you eat that food. So it can be you digest them well, you like the taste, you have a healthy relationship with them. And what do I mean by healthy relationship? You can count on them for regular nourishment. You're not just calling them up when you're sad, mad, stressed, etc. So there's not like that kind of emotion connected to that food. Okay, so let's talk about yellow light foods. These are going to be, the question you're going to ask is, what foods work for you, but only sometimes? And you might like these foods, but if you eat them regularly, like too many days in a row or in larger portions, you just don't really feel great. So for example, a small portion of beans, you feel good, but a big bowl might cause digestive issues or belly aches. Alcohol, junk food, sometimes these are on the yellow list. But sometimes it's kale. Like, people sometimes eat kale and feel really bloated after. So that's why I'm not telling you a list. I'm letting you find out your list. So I eat and I love carbs, but if I have a carb only meal, I really wouldn't feel good after. I really like that balance of protein, vegetables, and a carb. That's what helps me feel best, especially if I start out the first thing of the day. I don't really like to start sugar right off in the first thing of the day. A glass of red wine for me is great. Like, I feel great. I have my piece while I watch sunset. It's just like a whole routine. I love routines. But if I move into 2 to 3 glasses, I really don't sleep well, and then I don't feel great the next day. So you can see how red wine's going to be a yellow food for me, and somewhat carbs are going to be a yellow food for me. That's more about balance, in my opinion. Okay, so what foods make you want to crawl into a hole after you eat them? These are going to be your red light foods. These are foods that they're not inherently bad, but they make you feel bad. So they could cause an allergic reaction, maybe indigestion, or make you feel kind of out of control. Hopefully we're moving away from beating ourselves up about that. So ultra processed foods often fall into this category, and that's because many people find that once they start eating them, they can't stop. So it's not really that you ate, I don't want to give anything a bad name, but it's not that you ate chips, but maybe you ate a whole bag of chips. Does that kind of see how that could be a red light food? So at the same time, so-called healthy foods, I wish we had some different terminology for that because I really don't like the word healthy foods, but those can totally be red light listed for you too. So for example, if you're allergic to eggs, maybe they give you hives, they're going to be a red food. So my mother-in-law, two of my nephews are actually extremely reactive to eggs. So eggs is on my green light and it's on their red light. You see how they're so different? I eat them almost every day. So I'm reactive to rye and white wine. So those are all my red lights. So I just switched to drinking red. And so there you can also kind of see, oh, if I just change it a little bit, all of a sudden it can be back on my list. So when you're making these choices, really consider the questions that we asked, and you'll probably tend to eat healthier just by kind of giving yourself a little category. But more importantly, you'll have a sense of autonomy and flexibility and enjoyment when you eat. And that's really what I want us to move to. I want us to enjoy food, even be grateful for food. It's not a habit that we're trying to break, and you can have just a loving relationship with food. That's like such my goal as a nutrition coach. So let me just remind you, everybody's list is going to be different. And, a lot of nutrition programs out there, they use this traffic light method, but it's more like eat this, not that. And some foods are allowed and some foods are forbidden. So your red light ones aren't forbidden. You'll just kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you go there. And in those other nutrition programs, the lists are the same for everybody. And I feel like I've kind of, even with just eggs, I've given you that example of how that doesn't work. With this approach that I'm teaching, no foods are glorified as healthy, amazing for you foods, and no foods are demonized. And each person's list is unique. Makes me so happy. Please subscribe or follow, check out the show notes, share this with a friend, and I will see you next time.